start the recording. So welcome everyone to class 2 of our new course. Now we're in the book of Genesis. So we are studying the biblical foundation for everything, for the entire Bible and for all of us. And Genesis obviously is the book of beginnings. So praise the Lord. I'm so excited to be able to share this and study this together with you. So we're going to review first what we discussed last week. Not everything, but some of the questions we discussed last week. So we're doing a review of Genesis' first verses as the foundation of history, science, and all creation. So let's start. So Cristiani, can you please read Genesis 1:1 in English? Genesis 1:1.
Heaven and the world.
Okay, can you say that again? Because maybe my computer. In the beginning.
In the beginning, God created and the heaven and the world.
Okay, earth.
Earth.
Yeah, it's a tough one. So the EA is like pronounced one vowel. So in English, sometimes two vowels are pronounced as one. Sometimes, like Portuguese, the vowels are pronounced separately. But in English, it's more often they're pronounced as if it was one vowel. So earth. Very good. So you're without Johan and Joyce, you're going to have to listen to my Portuguese. So please correct my Portuguese pronunciation.
Okay.
Thank you. No princípio criou Deus os céus e a terra. So I don't want to ask you every time. So if you hear something wrong, just go, hey, like this, and stop me. Otherwise, we'll continue on. Okay, so there's Genesis 1:1. And now, Camila, can you please read question A in English? Question A.
Do any other religions give a first-hand account of the universe creation?
Excellent. And there's an example where the vowels are pronounced separately. So it's creation. Excellent. Okay.
Creation.
So the EA are pronounced differently, but the IO are pronounced almost together. So you did it perfectly. So creation. Very nice. Okay. So what do you think? Do any other religions give a first-hand account of the universe's creation?
Existe outra religião?
What do you think? Yes? Is that yes? No?
No.
No, absolutely right. Okay, so none. No other. Very good. See, Camila, you're very courageous. You're already answering questions in English. That's excellent. It really is. You're very courageous. Okay, so Emily, can you please read question B in English?
What does in the beginning imply?
Thank you. So do you remember from last class, I said this, the amazing first 3 words of the Bible. Every word is important, but the first 3 words are already telling us something. What does in the beginning imply?
That if there is a beginning, there is going to be an end.
Absolutely right. And what's that called? If it's implying there's an end, if it's saying there's an end?
Consummation.
Well, but what I'm getting at is the word prophecy.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so in some ways, some say this is the Bible's first prophecy. Okay, so if there's a beginning, usually whatever has a beginning also has an end. So, excellent. So that was, I'm losing track. Was that? Oh, so Monica, can you please read question C?
Okay. How does the verse establish the 3-part universe?
Okay. Now, I think I saw Cristiani unmuting herself last question. Do you have an answer for this question, Cristiani?
What is the most common star?
I'm sorry, not yet. We're still answering question C.
Question C, sorry.
Yeah, no problem. So how does the verse establish the tripart universe? It's a kind of scientific question. It's not an easy one.
There's time, space, and matter.
Absolutely right. Okay. So it's a tripart universe. So let's look at the words. Where is time in verse 1:1? What words represent the concept time?
Beginning.
Exactly, in the beginning. Okay, so that's the time part of the verse. And so where is the space part of the verse?
What's the meaning?
Well, go ahead.
Establish.
Well, we're not there yet. We're looking at the first verse. So in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. In the beginning is time, represents time. What represents space in that verse?
Heaven.
Heaven, absolutely right. And then matter. So then matter is represented by?
Earth.
Yep. Okay, so there's our tripart universe. Okay, so Cristiani, thank you. Can you now read question D for us? Question D.
Okay. What's the most common start to origins stories?
Stories. So don't
Stories.
forget the S at the end. Very good. Excellent. And Cristiani, you're very confident in your English, which is good. All right, you're like, bah. You say it. I appreciate that too. All styles are good. So Camila says it slowly and carefully, and Cristiani is confident. Okay, so what do you think? What's the most common start to origin stories? Do you remember? Chaos. Okay, so a lot of these matter. Like, there we go, chaos. Oh, thank you.
For Camila.
That's thank you. That's very nice. Okay, so chaos. And chaos is an example of an English word that's almost the exact same in Portuguese. Okay, so it's all right. So Camila, can you read question E, please, in English? Question E.
Have scientific laws, science,
laws, first,
laws,
yep.
Science confirmed. Genesis 1:1.
Very good. The word before confirmed is since, not science.
Since.
Okay, and one thing you can do, you remember, is if there is one consonant, if there's an E at the end of the word and one consonant, then the vowel is often open. So this might be, for instance, if it was S-I-N-E, then it would be sign. Because the E with one vowel makes the I open. But here there's the E and two consonants. And so the vowel before the consonants is likely closed. So it's since, okay? I know, it's complicated. It helps, and you look at it and go, okay, there's an E, a silent E at the end, but it's not turning the vowel into open. So very good. So have scientific, sorry, go ahead, Emily.
I think in math you say sine, cosine, and I don't know, I think it is this name in English, right?
What is the same? Sorry?
The sine, cosine in mathematics.
Ah, okay.
I remember the pronunciation. I think it is right in English.
Okay, I think so too. You know mathematics much better than I do. But it sounds right to me.
A tip to remember.
Okay. So what do you think? Have scientific laws since confirmed Genesis 1:1?
Have sign.
Yes. Okay. So that's a big, as we say in English, and this is a little bit of slang, that's a big, fat, oops, my computer, there we go. A big, fat yes. Okay, science has confirmed Genesis 1:1. So let's see how. So Emily, can you please pronounce question F in English?
What is the most basic and clearest law to confirm it?
Okay, so do you remember the first scientific law we discussed last week? The first one?
No, it's entropy.
That was perhaps the second. So it was the law of causality.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and the law of causality is represented this way, okay, that the cause has to be bigger than the effect. And the effect is another way to say result. Okay, so if I gave the example, for a mother to give birth to a baby, the mother has to be bigger than the baby. You can't have a baby bigger than the mother. And similarly, in the law of causality, in terms of complexity, something of low complexity cannot create something of higher complexity. So this law alone says the creator of the universe has to be more complex than the universe. All right, and the universe is extremely complex, extremely. So let's, so Monica, can you please read question G in English, please?
Okay. How does that law make Genesis the only true scientific explanation?
Thank you. Very well pronounced. And I just gave that to you in the chat. Okay, so I answered cause is great, has to be greater than the effect. Okay, so Christiani, can you please read question H? Question H.
What other scientific? This is correct.
It's a scientific.
Scientific.
Yeah.
Sorry. What the scientific law take together prove the need of a creator.
Okay, very good. So scientific laws taken together prove the need for a creator. What's the name of those two laws that we discussed last time with a big fancy name? I know Emily will remember. Does anyone else remember?
Big.
Big. Okay, there's two laws of thermodynamics. And if I remember, the Portuguese word is very similar. Again, it's written differently and pronounced differently. So we're not going to go back in detail into the laws of thermodynamics, but now we have three scientific laws which not only prove Genesis 1:1, they in fact resolve the contradiction. Oops. Sometimes I'm slow. The contradiction between the first two laws of thermodynamics, because they are in contradiction. But Genesis 1:1 resolves the contradiction. Okay, so Emily, can you please read question, is it I?
How does the Big Bang Theory contradict the laws of causality and thermodynamics?
Hey, that's another big scientific question. I think we're going to ask our science expert, but before, but anyone else? So explain maybe, what is the Big Bang Theory in simple terms? What is the Big Bang Theory? Do you want to say that in simple terms, Emily?
They say that it started as a very small point of very, very, very condensed matter. So there's a lot of gravity there. And then it expanded very quickly. So it released a lot of energy. So it started from a very state of a lot of chaos, and then it evolved into a lot of the complexity and beauty that we see in the universe.
Okay, so supposedly the universe started smaller than the tip of my pencil, and then the bang was bang. Okay, and that all started from that. So first of all, so when I say how do the laws of causality in thermodynamics contradict that? What do you think? Well, the law of causality, remember, says that the cause has to be bigger than the effect. So it's a little difficult to believe that the tip of my pencil is bigger than the entire universe. And I understand they say it's so compact, so concentrated. I don't know. It sounds a little bit strange to me. It doesn't look like the tip of my pencil is bigger or more complex than the entire universe. So I don't think Big Bang agrees easily with the law of causality. So we'll leave thermodynamics for another time because it's difficult to go into the science. But let's now go to our second Bible verse. Bible verses are the best. So Monica, can you please read Genesis 1:2 in English?
Okay. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters.
Beautiful. And that's such a beautiful verse. I just love the King James English. There's a cadence. It's musical. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. Okay, so it's just beautiful. So let me see if I can do okay in the Portuguese. A terra era sem forma e vazia, e havia trevas sobre a face do abismo, e o Espírito de Deus se movia sobre a face das águas.
Yeah.
So just beautiful.
Very good.
Thank you, thank you. So I'm not looking for compliments, but I always appreciate criticisms. But thank you. Okay, so Emily, Monica, can you please read question J in English?
Me?
Yes, please, Monica, did I say? Sorry?
I think Mom just read.
Oh, she did, I'm sorry. Then Christiani, can you please read question J?
Was it a God who moved upon the face of the water?
Very good. So what do you think? Was it God who moved upon the face of the waters? What does the verse say?
The Holy Spirit.
Yeah, so it wasn't God,
Mhm.
right? Well, it wasn't God, the
Father.
word alone, but the Spirit of God. Okay, very good. Then Camila, can you please read question K? Question K in English.
Why is that important?
Okay, good question. I think it is. That's a good question. I like that question. All right, so what do you think?
Questions. Like it's
I'm not trying to go, oh, yeah. But why does your teacher think that's a good question? So if you remember, all right.
Yeah.
Say it again, Emily.
It's the start of energy.
Okay, that's good. Because you're talking about move, but
Because
the question is more, was it God who moved upon the face of the waters? And
I think
so,
Camila knows.
say it again.
I think Camila knows the answer.
Okay, Camila.
because prove it that God stay here
Excellent English.
at princípio, não sei como é, ou
At the
signs,
beginning.
ou signs the beginning.
Okay, very good. Excellent long response in English. Incredibly brave. Okay.
Vocês me entenderam? Eu posso
Yes.
responder em português.
Yes. I didn't understand that thing about in the beginning in Portuguese, but besides, good evening, Pedro and Ellington.
Hi, Pedro.
Hi, Pedro.
So good to see you. Pedro and Ellington, let me introduce Cristiane is with us from São João as well. And Camila is with us, I think from Jaguarão. So also in Rio Grande do Sul. So welcome. So nice that, and Pedro and Ellington are from São João as well.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Excellent. And I have to warn you, Pedro's English is incredible. Okay?
Yes.
And his knowledge of the Bible is incredible. So Pedro is a miracle boy. He's a miracle boy. So now, Pedro, everyone's going to be like hearing and watching, okay? Okay, so we're on question K. Question K, so it's the second page. And the question is, why is that important? And Camila just answered, or gave one answer that was very good. I'm still looking for another answer. So why is it important that the Spirit of God moved? Why is it important that the Spirit of God moved and not God? And the answer is that God is outside the universe. Okay? And that's very helpful if we go back to the laws of thermodynamics. Because if you remember, the first law says that no energy is being created inside a closed system, is being created or destroyed. We won't go into the details, but the creator has to be outside to create. Okay, we'll explain that better in Portuguese at the end of the class. Okay, but it's one. Go ahead, Emily.
But since God is omnipresent, isn't he also at the same time outside and inside?
I agree entirely. So that is also true. But I'm just pointing out that the first time there is movement within the universe, okay, it's not God. And so it's almost as though he knew that the laws of thermodynamics would come and reveal his truth. again, he's kind of saying, all right, at first I'm outside. I'm creating from outside and let my spirit do the work. At first, okay? So I'm just, this is just one of my ideas. I may be crazy, but I like this idea. God is confirming the first law of thermodynamics by saying the Spirit of God moved. So let's move. So next is Emily. Can you please read question L in English?
What famous theory or rationalization for evolution occurs between verses 1 and 2?
Okay, does anyone remember from last class? So there's a famous theory, and it's the same name as a clothing brand. Not that I paid that much attention, okay? But it's not Prada. It's not Gucci. Can someone think of another clothing brand that also is a famous theory? Okay, Pedro's thinking. What do you think, Pedro?
I don't know, but I think that is Big Bang.
Oh, well, that's a good answer. Big Bang. We discussed Big Bang earlier, but I have not seen a clothing brand with the name Big Bang. Maybe it exists. I think maybe that's next. Okay, but I like, you're very connected. We just discussed Big Bang a little bit earlier, Pedro. So I'm gonna send you the video, and then you'll be able to go and hear a little of our discussion on the Big Bang. But what's the theory I'm thinking of? Another clothing brand?
The gap theory.
Yes, thank you. Okay. So, because gap in English also means like an interval, like a gap between two things. So you have to jump the gap, for instance. Okay. So let's talk about the gap theory, the crazy gap theory. So let's go to Ellington. Can you please read question M in English, Ellington?
Okay. Why do liberal theologians and the Catholic Church feel necessary?
Very good. Let me help with two small areas. Why do liberal, okay, so liberal theologians, and the emphasis on the word Catholic. So you gave it the Portuguese pronunciation or emphasis, which is Catholic. But in English, the emphasis is often closer to the front. So instead of Catholic, it's Catholic.
Catholic.
Very good. Okay, so here's another science question, but this is actually a theological question. So the Catholic Church and liberal, okay, theologians agree with the gap theory. Did Camila, were you saying something? Someone else? Okay, then what do you think? So why did they create the theory that there is a huge gap of time between verse Genesis 1:1 and verse Genesis 1:2? A huge gap of time. Why did they feel it necessary?
They have compromised with secular science and philosophy.
Yep. But why did they need a huge gap of time?
To fit in billions of years.
Exactly right. Okay. So it's to fit in evolution. Okay. To try to find a place for evolution to fit into the Bible. So they create a fantasy, a fiction, that there are billions of years between verse 1:1 and verse 1:2. Crazy. So Pedro, can you please read question N in English? Question N.
with a vast amount of time between verse 1 and 2. How do we arrive at a formless earth?
Very good. Let me give you two suggestions. It's earth, so a little more emphasis in front, earth.
Earth.
Very good. And the verb before that, I think you said arrive, but it's arrive.
Arrive.
Excellent. And you know why you can tell? Because the silent E, there is only one consonant before it. Consonant. So with only the one V, then the I is more likely open. If there was two V's, which doesn't exist, and the word doesn't exist, then it would be arrive. Okay, because the two V's would indicate the I is now closed. But with one V, then it indicates it's arrived. The I is open. So very good. All right, so let's answer the question now. So with a vast amount of time between verse 1 and 2, how do we arrive at a formless earth? It's a bizarre, strange theory, and it, oops, and I misspelled it. No, I think I got cataclysm. Yeah, a massive cataclysm. And I think the word in Portuguese is similar. Yeah, so cataclysm, big, big disaster. Everything gets destroyed. So in other words, God made a mess of it in Genesis 1:1, that he looked at the first verse in Genesis 1:1, and in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. He did a bad job. He had to destroy it all. All right, but it's like, I didn't really like the first attempt, so I'm going to try it again. So he destroyed it in order for Genesis 1:2 to say the earth was without form and void. Crazy. But what? Yes, Emily.
I think some theologians, and not really good ones, I think, they say that Satan fell from heaven at this point. But then God wouldn't have said that everything that he created was good.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. We'll get there. And now remember, speak a little more slowly.
Okay.
Okay, but no, your English is so good. So let's move on. So that was Pedro, and I think Monica was out first. Monica, can you please read question O in English? O in English.
What actual historic event better explains the geological and fossil records?
Excellent. Only records.
Records.
I think you said a little bit records, but
yes.
Records.
Records.
Okay. And interestingly, if it was a verb, it would be the way you pronounce it, to record. But when it is a noun, it's then pronounced differently. It's oops. Sorry. Then instead of record, it's record. Same spelling. So the noun is record and the verb is record. So remember, English is as strange and irregular as Portuguese. Okay, so you should be used to it. Portuguese is a very irregular language. Spanish is very regular. Okay, is like super regular. It's like, it's always pronounced the same way and the same da 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 da. In Portuguese and English, it all depends. There are no good pronunciation rules in English or Portuguese. It all depends. Okay, it all depends. Okay, so let's now get to some new material. Fantastic. And a new verse. So that was Monica. So Cristiani, can you please read Genesis 1:3, please?
And the God said, let three be light, and the three was light.
Very good. And that's there. Let there be light.
There be light.
Very good. Okay, so let me try that. E disse Deus, haja luz. E houve luz. Wow. Okay, things are happening. This is incredible. Just imagine, we have a front seat. We have a front seat watching the creation of the universe. It's amazing. Just think about that. We are watching the creation of everything. Nowhere else can you watch the creation of the universe, only in our Bible. All right, I love it. So let's go to Camila. Can you please read question 1 in English?
What is the mechanism
Excellent.
of God's action in the universe?
Very good. Excellent pronunciation. Okay, so what do you think? So let's look at that. We just read the verse and it says, and God said, let there be light, and there was light. So what is the mechanism of God's action?
Oração?
Say it again.
Oração? Não, como é que é?
Well, is that, maybe that word is like prayer?
Pray.
Okay, all right, but
The word
I don't do it. Do you see a prayer in Genesis 1:3? I don't know.
The word
Maybe it's a type of prayer, but what is prayer normally? How's prayer shared?
Say.
Saying a word.
Speak.
Speech. That's the word I wanted. Okay, so the mechanism of God's action in the universe is speech. It's words. Okay, so all God has to do is speak. And that's the beginning of action in the Bible. God speaks. Well, there was the movement before. There was a movement upon the face of the waters. That was the Spirit of God. But now God does a direct boom. He says, and it's created. Okay, so the speech is his mechanism. Amazing. So now, Ellington, can you please read question 2 in English?
Okay. Did God create light?
Okay, so be careful. This is a trick question. I'm trying to give you fair warning. You're like, well, God created everything. But this is a trick question. So did God create light? If it's a trick question, it probably means the answer is no. All right, because the easy answer is yes. So why would I say that God did not create light? Because I'm crazy? Maybe. Because
He is light.
exactly, God is light. Okay, so he didn't have to create it. Okay, it was already there. He is light. All right, so now you see what fun the Bible is. You're like, wow, okay. So Pedro, can you please read question 3? Question 3 in English.
Are the sun, moon, and stars the stars of light?
Very nicely pronounced. Thank you. So Pedro took a vacation from several classes, but his English is still top form. Okay, very nice. So what do you think? Are the sun, moon, and stars the source of light?
Nuclear reaction.
Okay, well,
Kind of.
well, but let me make a more basic question. Most people would say today that, yeah, the sun gives us light, the moon, the stars. But wait a second. If God just said in Genesis 1:3, let there be light, was there any sun, moon, or stars at that point in Genesis 1:3?
Oh, no.
Right. Okay. Remember, God is light.
Mhm.
So this is another trick question. Like right now, light preceded sun, moon, and stars. Okay, so light preceded. All right, so it didn't, at this point, they were not the source of light. God was. Okay, excellent. So now we move up to Christiani. Can you please read Genesis 1:4 in English?
And God saw the light, that it was good, and God divided the light from the darkness.
Very, very good. The verb divide, one needs to pronounce the last D. So divided.
Mhm.
All right, just to make it clear that it's past tense, so divided.
Right.
Very good. Okay, let me try that. E viu Deus que era bom a luz. E fez Deus separação entre a luz e as trevas. Wow, I love that word, darkness. It's like, it sounds that in English, it sounds, I think in Portuguese, darkness. Okay, so let's look now. Thank you, Cristiani. So now, Camila, can you please read question 4 in English?
In God's realm, what does good
Signify. Yeah, and the third word is difficult, realm. So it's realm. And that a realm is like a kingdom. Realm, kingdom. So what do you think in God's realm, what does good signify? Good is like, you could have done better. Good. Do you think that when God said, that it was good, he's just saying, it was good, not very good, not excellent, it was good.
It was perfect.
Exactly. Okay. So we're in another world. We're in God's world right now. And so when he says he saw the light and that it was good, in God's world and realm, it was perfect. Okay, so this is good. It's important because it'll have a big impact on our interpretation of verses to come. So I like that. So when God saw the light, he said it was good. For us, that means perfect. Okay, so let's go to Emily, can you please read question 5 in English?
In contrast to light, did God create darkness?
I see Camila going like this. Yeah. Okay. Correct answer. Okay. Because remember, we just said God did not create light. He is light. But, all right. But did he create darkness? Yep. And we have a verse to prove it. So that was Emily. And so Monica, can you please read Isaiah 45, verse 7a?
I formed the light and create darkness.
Oh, very nice. Okay. So that's I'm almost there. 1 second. 45. E formo a luz e crio as trevas. Again, the Bible is so exact. It didn't say Isaiah 45:7 to say, I create the light and darkness. I form the light. God is light. So it would have been a bad translation and bad, it would have been incorrect to say God created light. Sorry, Emily?
Well, what's the difference between a form and create?
Good question. So what do you think? Form. Now, when a potter makes a pot, forming is creating, okay? But can you think in it, but does form sometimes mean something else?
To take shape?
Exactly, to give shape.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so God took the light that was already there and directed it, formed it.
Oh, that's nice.
Okay, so you see how it's the Bible is very specific, and there's no contradictions, but among 66 books. Okay, this is a very important contradictions among 66 books by 40 plus authors on 3 continents. Okay, no contradictions. 66 books, 40 plus authors, 3. When I write something, I have a contradiction within the same sentence. Okay. Here, God did it perfectly. Okay, there's no contradictions among all of this. So, wow. So I form the light and create the darkness. So now, Ellington, can you please read question 6 in English?
Okay. With light and darkness now on earth, is the formless earth likely taking shape, and if so, what kind of shape?
Excellent. And you corrected your pronunciation of shape very well. So not shapey, but shape. Perfect. Okay, so this is speculation. I'm like, wow, this is funny. What kind of question is that? It's speculation. So with light and darkness now on earth, is the formless earth is it gaining form? And if it is gaining form, taking shape, what kind of shape? Well, the next verse will help explain, but go ahead. Emily, you have or Camila, who anyone want to guess? Pedro? What kind of, this already with light and darkness on the earth, what shape is the earth taking? I don't want to give it away. What shape is the earth taking?
No.
Okay. Pedro, what shape? What shape is the earth taking? Okay. I don't think I have a good one, but it's taking the shape of a ball. Okay, of a sphere. Okay, so you can say it's, and why? How do we experience lightness and dark on earth? And we'll answer that question. Sorry, say it again.
Because of rotation.
Exactly. Okay. And for rotation to make a difference, if you're flat, rotation doesn't. Okay. So it's only rotation of a sphere, right? That then you know, like, okay, so you have the light side and the dark side. Okay, excellent. All right. You see, wow, things are getting like crazy here. We have a front seat in creation, a front seat. Okay, so let's read our final verse for tonight. Pedro, can you please read Genesis 1:5 in English?
And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day.
Beautiful. Pedro, I wish you read all the English verses, but that would be greedy. But I love how you say the verses. That's just beautiful. Thank you. Okay, so let me try this in Portuguese. E Deus chamou a luz dia, e as trevas chamou noite, e foi a tarde e a manhã, o dia primeiro. So again, these lines are so beautiful, just so beautiful. I think both in English and Portuguese. I don't do the Portuguese justice, but I can tell it's a beautiful line, beautiful line. All right, so God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. So let's go. Cristiani, can you please read question 7 in English?
With the creation of day and night, what movement and likely occurred with Earth?
Okay, so it's Earth. That's
Earth.
And so it's a strange one, Earth, like, yeah, almost as if there was no A, the E-R-F, Earth. So, and the other was occurring.
Occurring.
Okay, very good. So what do you think? With the creation of day and night, what movement is likely occurring with Earth?
Rotation.
Exactly right, Pedro. Okay, good word. That's a good one. Oh, it's in the chat. But that you're absolutely right. Okay, so that's why I asked the question before, like, okay, you know, with lightness and darkness now on Earth, is the formless Earth now taking shape? And yeah, the next verse implies that with the creation of day and night, and it's not just a spherical. If the sphere was stuck, then one side would be dead, the other side alive. But no, the sphere is moving. So now it's the rotation of the sphere that leads to light and dark and different parts of the day. Okay, so Camila, you have the last question in English tonight. Thank you all for your patience with total immersion. Okay, total immersion in English, like, wow. Okay, so Camila, can you please read question 8 in English?
Why say the evening and the morning are the first day? Isn't that redundant?
Very good, excellent pronunciation. The first part of why say, I think you said evening, but it's evening. The evening. Yeah, so the emphasis is at the very beginning. So why say the evening and the morning are the first day? Isn't that redundant? Why? Is God getting repetitive? So do you understand what redundant means? Redundant is like repetitive.
Repeating.
Yeah, okay. So why did God decide, he says, are the first day, evening and morning? Well, I thought
Why? I don't
Yeah.
know.
Okay, me neither. Help me, someone else. Help me. Why did God say the evening and the morning? And he's going to do this again and again in this chapter. It's like, why? Why? Any thoughts?
To make it clear that it is a 24-hour day.
Bingo. Bingo. Okay. There we go. Okay, because we'll see later so that some people, God knew that many religious people would try to say, and remember in the Bible, religious is not always it's not a compliment, all right? Religious is like full of religion, tradition, and many religious people will try to interpret day differently. So we'll see that later. All right, so some people will interpret day to mean long periods, but no. God was very clear that a day that he's talking about here is 24 hours, one day, one night, and one morning. Okay, so thank you. Wonderful. So before we and we'll see this in verses coming up, why this is so important. So any questions or comments? And I tried to finish up. So 1 hour. So we started at like around this time. So we're 1 hour. So you can plan things later. We try to stay to 1 hour. So any questions or comments before I stop the recording?
I have one. Does Pedro like science? Do you like science, Pedro?
Yes, I do.
Oh, it's because you're very young to know about the Big Bang.
Okay.
Do you know a program called Fé e Ciência?
No.
No? There is a
No.
program on YouTube called Fé e Ciência, and it's very nice. It's presented. Are you understanding me?
Yes. Yes.
And it's presented by Marcos Eberlin. He's a chemist, and they talk a lot about creation science. It's very nice. He was very important to my faith. I think you will like it too. For everyone.
Okay.
Nice. Let's
can-
put those words in the chat. So
Okay.
the name of the teacher,
Mhm.
and I think you said faith in science. I don't understand Portuguese sometimes. So faith in science.
Yes. It's in the channel IPP TV.
Okay.
I can send you the link. It's Dr. Marcus. I don't know in English. Eberlin.
I'm joking that you had to say it in English. All right. So thank you all. I'm going to stop the recording then. So.